to Stories Podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Weldin. Today's story is called The Four Musicians, a classic folktale adapted by Daniel Hinds. Thanks! Enjoy the episode! The Four Musicians. There was once a donkey who worked tirelessly for his master for many years. Every day, he would be loaded up with heavy bags and trotted miles and miles from their home in the mountains to a little village in the hills. Once in the village square, the donkey's master would unpack his bags and do a little selling and a little buying throughout the day, and when the sun started to dip below the mountains, he would load the donkey back up and head for home. Despite his many years of hard work, when the donkey got too old to carry the heavy bags, the master was done with him. One day in the village, he bought a new donkey and left the old donkey alone in the forest. With not so much as a goodbye, he turned away, leaving the poor old donkey on his own. "Well, that was rude," the donkey said to himself, feeling hurt that his old master just left him like that. He cried for a little while, thinking of all the ways his life was going to be different now. But eventually, he dried his tears and decided to make a new plan. "I guess that's that. My body's too old to carry and my back's too weak to bear, but my old voice is as good as ever. I'll leave my mean master and this little village behind and head for the big city to be a musician. When everyone hears this old voice of mine, it'll be easy living." So the donkey plodded down the road, away from his old master and towards a new life. It was a long road, and he sang to keep himself company. "Go into the city, gonna sing so clear, gonna draw a great big crowd from miles around to hear. Go into the city, gonna take 'em all by storm. Gonna earn enough to eat and a roof to keep me warm." So he went, through the little village in the hills and over a stream and over some fields. He walked all day and he walked all night and he walked all the next morning too. He planned on walking straight through till he hit the big city, but a strange warbling sound hit his tall, fuzzy ears and he stopped to listen. "Hello, hello?" he said. "Is there someone there singing?" A mangy old cat slunk out of the grass, eyes tired and yellow. "It was only me," the cat said. "These old eyes of mine are too weak to see mice, so my farmer kicked me out of the barn. I've been wandering ever since, but I can't really see where I'm going." "Almost the very same thing just happened to me," said the donkey, commiserating with the cat. "So now I'm headed to the big city to be a musician. I'm going to sing for big crowds and earn enough for a nice place to live and plenty of hot meals. I think your voice is fine, even if your eyes are bad. Would you like to come along and sing with me? We could be a double act." "Really?" asked the cat. "That would be wonderful, though I don't know if I can see the way." "No problem. Just ride up on my back. I may be too old for a heavy load, but I can still handle a little thing like you." So, with a little help, the cat climbed onto the donkey's back, and together they plodded down the road, away from their old masters and towards a new life. It was a long road, and they sang to keep themselves occupied. "Go into the city, gonna sing so clear, gonna draw a great big crowd from miles around to hear. Go into the city, gonna take 'em all by storm. Gonna earn enough to eat and a roof to keep me warm." So they went, over a bridge and through a valley and down a hill. They walked all day and they walked all night and they walked all the next morning too. They planned on walking straight through till they hit the big city, but a strange rumbling sound hit their fuzzy ears and they stopped to listen. "Hello, hello?" the donkey said. "Anyone there?" added the cat. From the shade of an old sycamore tree, a bony old dog came shuffling out.
"It was only me," said the dog. "I've gotten old and too slow to herd the sheep, so my master kicked me off the farm. I've been looking for food for days, but so far all I've had to eat are some old sticks."
The donkey and the cat both nodded, understanding completely. "The very same sort of thing just happened to us," said the cat. "We're headed to the big city to be musicians. We figure we can sing well enough to earn a place to sleep and something warm to eat. It seems you haven't lost your voice. Would you like to come with us?"
"Food to eat? Count me in,"
said the dog, and together they plodded down the road, away from their old masters and towards a new life. It was a long road, and they sang to keep themselves occupied.
Bum, 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 bum.
Going to the city.
Bum, bum.
Gonna sing so clear. Gonna draw a great big crowd from miles around to hear. Going to the city. Gonna take 'em all by storm. Gonna earn enough to eat and a roof to keep me warm. So they went, through a tunnel and over a rocky ledge and down a winding avenue. They walked all day, and they walked all night, and they walked all the next morning, too. They planned on walking straight through till they hit the big city, but a strange click-clucky sound hit their fuzzy ears, and they stopped to listen. "Hello, hello?" the donkey said. "Anyone there?" added the cat.
"Come on out, friend,"
said the dog. From under a scrubby bush came an old rooster. "Hey there, it's just me. My master got a new rooster, so he told me to run away or I'd be dinner." The donkey, cat, and dog nodded quietly. Of course, they understood.
"We had almost the very same thing happen to us. You're in luck now, though," said the dog. "We're heading to the big city to be musicians, and I bet we'd have better luck as a quartet. We're going to sing to earn a place to sleep and some good food to eat. Why don't you join us? We could use a mighty crower like you."
"Really? That sounds wonderful," said the rooster, and together they plodded down the road, away from their old masters and towards a new life. So they went, but they hadn't gone far before a terrible thunderstorm rolled over the land. The rain came down with sleet, and the sleet came down with hail, and the thunder crashed, and the lightning flashed, and soon all 4 of the poor friends were soaked and scared witless. "What do we do?" asked the cat.
"There's a light over that way," said the dog.
"Let's check it out," said the rooster. "And fast, too," added the donkey. They ran for the light and quickly came to see it was a small house, nestled into the hills. It was modest, but there were lights in the windows and smoke curling from the chimney. "No telling who could be inside," said the donkey. "I wish we were tall enough to peek through those windows."
"Maybe if I get on your back?"
said the dog, and with the donkey's permission, the dog hopped on up. Still, they were too short to see. The cat climbed on the dog's back, but her eyes were too weak. Finally, the rooster flapped up to the very top of the group and told them what he saw. "There's money, and some food, too, and a few people at the table." Well, maybe they'll share if we give them a little show?" said the cat. "Excellent idea," agreed the donkey. And, as a quartet, they began to sing. "Bum, bum, 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 going to the city.
Bum, bum.
Gonna sing so clear. Gonna draw a great big crowd from miles around to hear. Going to the city. Gonna take 'em all by storm. Gonna earn enough to eat and a roof to keep me warm." Inside the cabin, the people heard a great racket of strange noises from just outside their window. They didn't speak donkey or cat or dog or rooster, so it was a terribly frightening noise to them. And when they looked out, the 4 animals, all stacked on each other's backs, looked like monsters out of their nightmares. They ran screaming out the back door, heading for the hills. Curiously, the animals went inside. "We must have scared them away," said the cat. "Maybe we should have knocked first," agreed the donkey.
"There's some good food,"
said the dog, already digging into a plate of shepherd's pie. "But look, masks and swords, too. These must be bandits." "Well then," said the donkey, "it's a good thing we scared them off. This is too nice a little home for bandits to bother." The rest all agreed, and they ate and drank and talked and laughed long into the night, safe and dry from the storm that raged outside. Finally, long after dark, they all found a cozy spot and curled up for the night. Nearby, the people, who were indeed bandits, were arguing over what to do. Once the storm cleared up and the moon rose high and bright, they decided that one of them should go back and investigate what kind of monsters they were up against. They drew straws, and the unlucky loser crept back to the cabin, quiet as she could. The bandit opened the door slowly. The fire had burned out and it was pitch black inside. She took 2 slow steps in and then spotted 2 yellow coals glowing in the fire. She pulled a stub of candle from her pocket and bent to light it from the coals. Unfortunately for her, they weren't coals. They were the yellow eyes of the old cat. With a hiss, the cat scratched wickedly at the bandit's hand. The bandit yelped and stumbled backwards, foot coming down right on the tail of the dog who was sleeping on the hearth. With a roar, the dog turned and sank his teeth into the bandit's leg. "Monsters! Monsters!" she cried, disoriented and terrified in the dark. She took 2 stumbling steps and ran right into the butt of the donkey, who instinctively let loose a mighty 2-legged kick, throwing the bandit across the room and into the wall. She lay there, stunned for just a moment, but by then the rooster had woken up, his perch high in the rafters, and he let loose a mighty cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo! Screaming and scared for her life, the bandit fled from the cabin and ran back to the hills. When she got back to the other bandits, shaken and bruised and scratched, they asked her what had happened. "First, a witch with glowing eyes scratched my hand with her wicked nails. I turned away, and some vampire sank his fangs into me. I managed to get away, but then an ogre walloped me with a club. And then, just when I thought it couldn't get any worse, a voice from the sky yelled, 'Cook her up in stew! Cook her up in stew!'" The bandits all agreed that they had better find a new hideout, and left the little home for the monsters to keep. Of course, there were no monsters. Only the donkey, the cat, the dog, and the rooster. And when they realized the bandits weren't coming back, they decided to remain in the little house, finding it stocked well with food and firewood and everything else they needed. And there they stayed, old and abandoned once, but happy and healthy in their friendly little band. They passed the days relaxing, eating their fill, and, of course, singing away the long nights together. The end. Thanks for listening.